Gylt is launching today, and for fans of horror, Gylt is a must-play game that pays homage to some of the greatest games that came before it: Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Alan Wake, The Last of Us, and Little Nightmares. And by no means, do not let the game's playful appearance fool you. Gylt is a game filled with eerie environments, terrifying monsters, and of course, plenty of jump scares. And seeing that I was one of the 5 gamers that actually got to play Gylt when it first launched on Google Stadia, and now that the game has been resurrected from the Google graveyard, I have compiled a list of the 5 things that you likely missed when it comes to Gylt. So first things first, we've got to talk about the story. Sally's cousin Emily went missing over a month ago, and while the rest of the world has given up, Sally has not. As she sets out to find her lost cousin, she finds herself confronted with the local town bullies who chase her towards the local cable car station. And as Emily seeks shelter from the bullies, she finds herself in an abandoned cable car that she thinks will bring her home, but spoiler alert, she ends up being transported to a nightmarish version of her hometown where she must discover the mystery behind Emily's disappearance. And as a fan of horror, one of the things that I absolutely love about Gylt is that it's almost the perfect gateway drug into horror video games. Like, Gylt, simply put, is a horror video game that the whole family can play. While the game does feature spooky elements, you won't find obscene amounts of gore or frightening imagery. Gylt's gameplay is heavily grounded in puzzle mechanics, and players will find themselves relying on stealth and cunning for survival instead of weapons. Because since we're on the topic of weapons, I feel like I should warn you, you ain't got any. I mean, technically, you are given a flashlight, which does have the ability to stun or impact your enemies, but there are no melee weapons, no guns, no swords, no bazookas. All that stands between you and these monsters is your handy dandy flashlight. Oh, and because this is a horror game, just a heads up, your batteries run out quick. Now, another tool that Sally has in her arsenal is throwables, and similar to Last of Us, while using stealth, players can toss items to distract or stun monsters. And I can't believe we made it this far into the video without talking about the monsters. In Gylt, the monsters are there to stalk and chase you. Don't make too much noise or you're going to be chased down by a flock of terrifying monsters. And one of the things that Gylt does so well in this game is the variety of monsters. Because once you master one style of monster, the game throws a brand new style of monster at you that has a completely different format, and you have to remaster everything, creating this awesome cycle of gameplay. And you know, I think the final thing that we really do need to talk about is the soundtrack, because Gylt's music is composed by Chris Velasco, who made music for God of War, Mass Effect 3, Borderlands, Resident Evil, Biohazard, Overwatch, Darksiders 3, and of course Warhammer 40,000. And for me, the music in Gylt is kind of what makes this game what it is. The music immediately sets a cinematic and eerie tone, and while you are searching for Emily, the music behind this game just immerses the player into the world of Gylt and takes this game to a whole other level. Now, as we mentioned in the intro, as of today, Gylt is officially available for Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox. And if you do end up picking up this game, make sure to let me know how your experience goes in the comments down below. I'd love to hear how your experience differed from mine, but yeah, that's probably a pretty good place to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, my name is Bryant, and until next time, we will see you in the next video.
Are you listening?